This episode of Conversations with Linda is brought to you by New Life Learning Academy. New Life Learning Academy is now enrolling students from ages 12 months to 5 years. The Academy, which is a 3-star child care facility, is open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's New Life Learning Academy. Hello, and welcome to Conversations with Linda. I'm Linda. Listen, y'all know I love a good conversation, so let's have one. Now, before we get into our conversation, you know we need to have a good dose of medicine. Laughter is medicine for the soul. So here it is. What do you call the train carrying bubble gum? A choo-choo train. That's some good medicine right there. I cracked myself up. All right, listen, if you got a better joke than that one, send it in to LindaWillisEmpowers.org, and I'll tell your joke right here on Conversations with Linda. Today's conversation is with one of our previous guests. If you were with us on last year, when our last season, we had a panel of men come and share with us their truths. They came and shared with us how they feel about relationships, their perspective on it, and you know, just gave us that guy's perspective. And one of our guests in particular, he's back with us today because he was one of the favorites. Now, I won't say why he was one of the favorites, but just know that the women loved our guest today. So I want you to welcome to this conversation with Linda, Travis. So Travis, what's been going on since we last talked?
The rent. That's it. It's too high.
Well, wait a minute. I thought there was a moratorium. Nobody could be evicted, so a whole lot of folk are not paying rent.
Well, I guess you got a point.
Okay.
Still don't keep it from being high. But
So how has life been treating you? 2020, COVID, now we're in 2021. How's your love life? How about that? Let's just dive on into it.
Since we just gonna go, press the button, why don't you? So since the last episode, I've gotten some very nice messages in my inbox.
Oh, okay.
Some text messages and some phone calls.
What came out of that? Any prospects? Any?
There's still some prospects out there, you know.
Well, you know, that makes me think about when you came on our episode, our last season. You used this metaphor that I thought was just hilarious. You talked about when you know, checking out the prospects. It's like going down the cereal aisle. You remember that?
I do.
So come on and tell the folk what you meant.
You go to the grocery store, there's a cereal aisle. And in that cereal aisle, there are many variations of cereal. And so in order for me to choose the box of cereal that I want, I gotta try a few of them. You know what I mean? And so even when it comes to
on you, Travis. I don't know what you mean. What do you mean?
listen, you got Frosted Flakes, you got Cocoa Puffs, you got Lucky Charms. I don't know what I like just yet. So I gotta try more than one box of cereal.
So now, how does that relate to women and, you know, prospects out there?
Well, women come in all different shapes and sizes and colors and
Okay.
and attitudes and non-attitudes of the like, you know.
Okay.
And so, in order to figure out which woman you want, you gotta try a few of them. You know, the Bible says, "Man that findeth a wife,
You know,
findeth a good
Travis
thing."
is always going to throw the Bible in. I just
got
want y'all
to.
to know he's going to always justify what he's saying by the word of God.
And,
now, sometimes it's out of context. Trust me.
You're supposed to read. No, that I was about to mess up with it.
So what you're saying, yeah, you really were. So you're saying it's like, you know, dating. I think that's where we're going with this. Dating is like going down the cereal aisle.
Absolutely.
And there are all kinds of cereals.
correct.
You know, and so you've got to try a few to know which ones you like.
You should have been a lawyer, Pastor.
All right.
You really
I'm
good
just
with your-
making sure
Okay,
that
yeah,
we,
that's all
because
right.
I don't want to misrepresent what you're saying.
Absolutely. We don't want to incriminate anybody.
Okay.
There we
So in doing that, though, do you reach for the healthy cereal or do you reach for the sugary cereal?
I mean, who just wakes up in the morning and says, you know what I want? I want some Raisin Bran. No, nobody just.
Well, now, wait a minute. There are some Raisin Bran eaters.
What's the other one with the little white box? Is just pebbles in it. I can't think of what it's called.
It's just pebbles.
Yeah, it's like hard nuts or something.
Oh.
I can't think of what it's called right
Like
now.
Quaker Oats, one of them. Y'all let us know.
Yeah. Somebody put it in the comments.
Listen, do you all agree with Travis? And be ye man or woman, because, women could feel the same way. Is it all
Absolutely.
right for women to feel that way?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you think that dating is about going down the cereal aisle, or is like going down the cereal aisle and you got to try a few to see what you like? Is that a good metaphor for dating? I just want to know. Listen, you can go on LindaWillisEmpowers.org and leave me some information about how you feel about dating, and maybe I'll have you on the show. So last year, I remember now, I think you're okay with me telling the folk. I mean, you're in the conversation now.
I'm an open book. Let's go.
Okay, so last year, you found someone that you were really interested in, and you all got involved. And I remember you even telling me, Pastor, this might be the one.
Correct.
All right, are y'all still together?
Absolutely not.
Wait. Okay. I thought you were gonna ease into that. I know you weren't still together, but I thought you were gonna ease into it.
Absolutely not.
Okay, so can you tell us what happened?
Sure. I mean, well, before we get started, let me just start by saying this.
Was it the messages and the inboxes and stuff that you got from my show that messed that up?
Slow walk, Pastor. We're going to slow walk.
Oh, slow walk. Okay. He always calls me pastor now when he wants to set boundaries. with me.
Listen, Linda, listen. I've been on you that one. But, so before we get started, I will say this, that I'm not here to bash anybody.
Sure.
Or to demonize anyone's character.
Absolutely
Because
not.
at one point, I truly loved this woman.
Yeah.
And she was a godsend to me.
Okay.
So I would
I
dare
respect
not-
that. I respect, and I don't want to bash anybody.
Absolutely,
Yeah, I respect
absolutely.
that.
So, I mean, I wouldn't disrespect her in any regard because we're still cool. She's still a good friend of mine. I haven't been blocked on social media yet, so I must be doing
Oh
it
yeah,
right.
you still in there.
Cool. But, yeah, so lost my dad back in 2019. And, well, thank you. And so I met her the top of 2020, sort of like, mid 2020, like May.
Okay.
And so I was broke down, busted, and disgusted. Did not know it, And so upon meeting her, she recognized those traits because she lost a parent as well.
Okay. She
Yeah.
recognized your grief.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And so I'm just walking around in a whole funk, in a whole depression.
Okay.
Had no clue because I was functioning in depression. You know what I mean? And so she loved me back to life.
All right. That's beautiful.
She
That's beautiful. Wait a minute. Let's take that in. That was really touching. She loved him back to life. All right, keep going.
Yeah,
I'm gonna come back to that.
she poured into me when I didn't have anything. And so
And she loved you back to life, and y'all are not together.
correct.
Okay.
Because as she was pouring, I didn't pour back into her. And she made mention of that. And
I love it. She made mention.
right, I mean, I didn't realize what she needed in our relationship
Okay.
until it was a day late and a dollar short.
Okay.
And so I was being reactive instead of proactive.
Sounds like you got some regret.
Some could say that.
Okay. Some. You won't own it?
I will say this. If there were some things that I could do over, I would.
Okay. I
Yeah.
can appreciate that.
Yeah,
I respect your vulnerability.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
That was another thing I couldn't stand about being in that relationship.
Okay.
It was the most vulnerable I've ever been in my life.
And why couldn't you stand it?
I hated it
Why?
because it wasn't me.
Well, that's a complaint that a lot of women have, out here in this dating world, is that
can
men, won't be vulnerable. What's up with that?
I think, and from my prior experiences, plural, pray for me.
don't you love Travis? He says, plural.
I think the thing is,
And maybe that's the issue, but we'll come back to that.
pray. Look, we're gonna pray and walk slow, okay? I think the issue is oftentimes when men do become vulnerable and bring those walls down, certain women find that the opportunity to emasculate. I'm sorry.
Okay, but now let's walk slow through this.
Okay.
You found a woman that obviously cared for you, even in your broken state, which says she cared for you when you didn't have a lot to offer.
Correct.
And she was willing to pour into you first, right? And you were short-sighted, your own admission,
Absolutely.
self-focused, and didn't reciprocate. And so that ended the relationship. But you're telling me that the vulnerability, some women take advantage of the vulnerability. Doesn't sound like she was one of those that was trying to take advantage of you, Travis.
Not at all, not at all.
So what's up with that? Don't y'all want to know, come on now, don't y'all want to know what's up with Travis finding the woman who was willing to put herself out there for him, recognizing his brokenness? She wasn't trying to get the come up with you because you didn't have any come up right then because you were in grief.
Correct.
And what? Come on.
Well,
Make it make sense, Travis. Make it make sense.
So, again, we made it to Thanksgiving dinner, right?
Okay.
So, someone had the brilliant idea. Well, how about we just be together on Thanksgiving? I was like, okay. This is where we at. Cool. So, we're at my parents' house.
Okay. I'm trying to follow this story.
Okay, cool. So, and my stepfather at the time, he pulled me to the side and said, hey, don't be bringing these folks around and you're not serious. He said, because I know you.
Okay, so was this the one you were in the relationship with?
Correct.
Okay,
correct.
okay.
And so I told him,
This is getting good. Okay.
well, now mind you, this is November. I met her in May.
Okay. And can I back that train up for just a minute?
Sure.
Stick a pin in that story. So you met in May. This is November, and you're in love. So that's interesting.
I know, right?
Did you fall too fast? Was it really love? Was it oxytocin? You know, oxytocin is just that feel-good hormone. Child. Okay, go. I digress.
It's a good thing. I'm going to be honest with you. I think it was a combination of COVID,
Okay.
because we had to be
Interesting.
quarantined.
Okay.
Couldn't
And y'all
go-
were spending a lot of time together.
Right, couldn't go on too many dates because with nothing open.
So you didn't have a lot of options.
Absolutely, so we had to make some options.
Interesting. Interesting.
COVID sped some things up, mind you.
It did. Divorces included.
Mm-hmm.
But interesting that your feelings got stronger, more concentrated because you didn't have variety and options.
Well,
Is
we
that
won't
what-
go that far.
Is that what, I mean, and I'm not saying because you wouldn't have had, I'm saying COVID limited us in spaces.
Absolutely.
And so is that what the deal is, that men are no longer willing and able to fall in love because there are too many options?
You know, I had this
I think I'm asking some good questions.
I had this exact conversation with my mother last night.
Okay.
She works third shift, so we talk every night.
Mm-hmm.
And so she says, that's you young men's problem. Y'all got too many options. See,
Yeah.
in my day, we didn't have them kind of options.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, it sounds like you can complaining, but you know, you can talk about that with the God that you serve. You know what I mean?
I sound like I need to have mama on the show.
Don't.
So y'all are in this space. You fall hard. So November, you falling in love. What was that like?
It was nice.
Nice.
It was nice.
Okay. So
can
you,
say
yeah. Okay. See, if it was a woman sitting here, falling in love would have come with a lot of adjectives, description of what that felt like. But okay, we'll take nice. So look, we're gonna stick a pin right here.
Okay.
Because I need to pay some bills, and I want to be able to come back and catch up with the rest of this story.
Sounds good.
All right. Listen, we have a wonderful, wonderful academy here at New Life of Memphis. It's called the New Life Learning Academy. want to just give a shout out to the New Life Learning Academy for supporting Conversations with Linda, and want to let you parents know that space is available. And if space is not available for right now, space is certainly available on the waiting list. You will receive excellent care. Your child will receive excellent care, and it will be a great learning experience. All right, Conversations with Linda. Our special guest today is Travis. As you may know, Travis was one of our guests on a panel discussion we had in our last season, and he made such an impression on our viewers that I invited him back just to catch up with him and see what's been going on with Travis. And so we're in the middle of this story that he's telling us. Travis fell in love last year in the middle of COVID. In the midst of, the world shutting down, Travis opened up his heart. And so he's telling us this story because something happened. And you said it was at Thanksgiving.
Interestingly enough, it would take a worldwide pandemic for me to follow. Just point that out.
All right.
No, so what happened during Thanksgiving again, my stepfather pulled me to the side and he says, hey, look, don't be bringing this woman and these children around. You're not serious because I know you.
Okay.
And I'm taken aback for a second, like, you know what, you're right, you do know me.
Uh-huh.
But I shared with him right then and there. He said, and I told him, I'm actually considering proposing to this one.
I remember you feeling marriage. Yeah, I remember that.
He said, boy, there is a God. I knew you knew the Lord. That's good. And so we sat at the dinner table. I sat at the head of the table. The youngest boy was next to my mom. And
this was her son?
Her son.
Okay.
She has two boys.
She has two boys, okay.
Right. And she sat next to me here. Her son, my brother, my dad. No, my brother, her son, and my dad. And my dad and her oldest son were conversing. I'm like, oh, wait, this real. Okay.
You had an epiphany.
I did.
Okay.
I mean, right then and there, it's like, oh, this is what we're doing. Okay. So I need to, make my next move my best move. So
Okay.
I decided then, okay, this is going to be worth the pursuit.
Okay.
And so.
But the relationship didn't work out. Give me that.
Did not.
What happened, Travis?
Oh, goodness. So.
Did you mess up?
Oh, no, I actually did well. I'm proud of me.
Okay.
All
right.
I didn't step out or.
Because Travis never did give me the story of, what led to the breakup. I just knew he was in love. He was considering marriage. And then one Sunday he showed up and he said, Pastor, it's not going to happen. And so, you were too tender then. And I didn't want to, I didn't. Yeah, you were
That's
tender.
a good one. That's a good
So
one.
I just let you slide.
Okay, I appreciate it.
So can you tell us now what happened?
Without incriminating anybody.
Okay.
What I will say is.
Okay.
It was just irreconcilable differences.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
No, not really, but okay.
We got to a point where certain women.
Okay, wait a
don't like
minute.
to- okay.
Go. Why do we all have to be put in a
I
category?
said certain women.
Okay, come on,
certain
come
women.
on. Ladies, I am going to stick up for you because, come on.
Okay, so when women go through things in life, right,
Mm-hmm.
they want men to prove, and I get that, I respect that,
Prove what?
that you're able to lead. And I get
Yeah.
all of that.
Okay.
But what you're not
Well,
gonna do?
well, if you want to be the leader, you need to prove that
Correct.
you can lead.
Correct.
All right.
And so now, mind you, we're in a pandemic, and so
Okay.
of course, for those who don't know, I'm a musician by trade.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God for New Life in Memphis. And thank God I had some money to put to the side. Huh? Come on, man. I was floating well during the pandemic. I was pretty
Okay.
good.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, the conversation came up about working 2 full-time jobs. And I'm thinking, I'm a little paranoid. So I'm
Okay.
like, so you want me to work 2 full-time jobs, get hypertension, stress out,
Wait a minute.
have a heart attack and die, so you can get a not refund check, but a insurance check off of me. And you
Wait
go
a minute.
live
How did you get from
That's how I think, Pastor. I'm sorry. I'm a little
her
paranoid.
just wanting to make sure that you were able to take care of the family to you were going to
Not with 2 full-time
die
jobs.
and she was going to get the insurance. Now, how did you make that leap?
Listen, I'm a little paranoid. I'm working on that too. With my therapist, we're working on that
You're
together.
with the therapist.
Absolutely.
All
I have
right.
a therapist.
Listen, I want you all to make sure that you're not ashamed to get a therapist. Travis said he's working this thing out with his therapist.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing wrong with having a therapist. You need a place where you can, objectively and vulnerably work through your stuff. And so, yeah, getting a therapist, you need Jesus now. Wait a minute, let me back that up. You need Jesus first.
Show you right.
But a therapist is not a bad idea. All right? Okay, so you're saying to me, it was the conversation that she had with you about stability, making sure things were going to be well, you could provide for her,
Right.
that scared you away?
No, it didn't scare me at all.
What did it do?
I stepped up to the plate.
Okay,
I went and got a job I didn't like, and I knew I didn't like it.
okay. But Travis, the relationship didn't work. Is he not going the long way around telling me how this relationship broke up? Okay, what happened?
Again, irreconcilable differences.
Irreconcilable. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna really get out of Travis all that happened. But it's interesting that you said that. Now, my husband and I, Bishop, and we've been married 35 years.
Right.
And when he first asked me to marry him, he was a preacher in school. He was in college. And that was my first question to him, Travis, was like, and how you gonna take care of me? Not because you were in school, he was in school. My question was, what are you gonna do other than preach? Because my concept, my perspective about preachers working, making their living as pastors was kind of negative.
Right.
Because I was thinking, I'm not gonna have folk getting mad at me or mad at you as their pastor, and then our bills don't get paid.
Right.
So yeah, that was one of our. As a matter of fact, the reason I told him no, the very first time, was for that reason, because I could not imagine. So do you have some thoughts about a particular occupation that you wouldn't want your spouse in, again, male or female,
Right.
because you're concerned about your income, you're concerned about whether or not it will substantiate, it will make sure, your living will be covered. I guess that's how I'm trying to say it in a nice way.
I get it.
Yeah, I'm not being a gold digger. I'm not trying to put that.
Yeah,
give that.
GOAL though.
Okay, GOA. Okay, I like that. I like that. Yeah, so there are some occupations that we're like, well, wait a minute, is that going to cover us? So yeah, I get that. But you really won't go into detail about how this, but you're not together. I'll let you off.
We're not together.
You're not-
I don't want to offend anybody or incriminate
Certainly,
anyone.
certainly.
Especially with my viewpoint. I mean, she
Yeah.
may have a different viewpoint.
But I'm sure with her with 2 children, she was concerned.
And I understand that.
But let me give you some respect. Let me
Okay.
give you your props, because you were willing to take another job. And you said it was a job that you didn't like.
Oh, I despised it. So.
But when a man loves a woman, woo! When a man loves a woman, he'll do something.
Absolutely. Some
Listen.
things I don't even like.
Yeah, listen, I don't know who I need to remind that to. Ladies, when a man loves you, he really will make some sacrifices.
My Lord.
All right, so yeah. If there are no sacrifices there, you may want to question that love. I mean, we got Travis telling us in the conversation today, he was willing to make some sacrifices because he loved that woman. All right, Travis, I appreciate your vulnerability.
Just putting it all on the table.
You putting it all on the table. Is it feeling better for you now that you can open up and express it? It's a safe place.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's only a few thousand people watching you. So, okay. Enough about that relationship. Thank
Okay.
you for being vulnerable.
Ooh,
But another metaphor that you used in our panel discussion last year
Right.
was quite interesting. I want us to take a look at it right now.
Well, me, myself personally, if we're going to use car references, I like a car with 100,000 miles on it. That means they can drive good. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. That means it's a smooth ride. I appreciate that.
Travis.
You know, you keep the tires balanced and keep the oil changed. Yeah, absolutely.
So Travis, in that clip, you again gave us one of your powerful metaphors, and you said, you referred to women as kind of like cars, like a used car, and you didn't have a problem with women having 100,000 miles on them.
Yep.
You think they run better.
Absolutely.
So I love the way you think. So now that you are dating again, what's your perspective? You still okay with that?
Absolutely. A car with 100,000 miles rides a lot better, Pastor.
Okay.
It's not a rough ride. You know what I mean?
Do you want to unpack that for us?
Would you like for me to?
Absolutely. I
me tell
think
you something.
our viewers want to hear you.
Let me tell you something. Experience is the best teacher. Ain't that what Betty said? That's what she said.
Would that be Betty Wright?
Yeah,
You're an old soul. Now I know Betty Wright, but I don't know why you know Betty Wright.
Well, I used to date a lot of South Memphis aunties in my time. Back when I was like 19, 20.
South Memphis aunties.
So let me unpack that. A South Memphis auntie is really a cougar, but cougar
Okay.
is supposedly a term of disrespect for certain women.
Okay.
So a lot of older women that I ran into back then, oftentimes came from South Memphis. So,
South Memphis,
so-
and they were older.
Absolutely, and they were somebody's auntie, wasn't mine.
Okay.
So
Now, we could have a whole conversation about these aunties. Really, we could, but I digress.
please do.
We'll save that for later. We'll have to have you back on the show.
That's fine.
Okay. So you're good with dating women
With 100,000 miles on
and
the odometer.
that's the part I want you to unpack.
Absolutely.
I mean, older in age and what?
Or it doesn't necessarily have to be age. It could just
Okay.
be an experience. you
Okay.
know. It's a lot of 2020s out here with 70,000 miles on them. I'm just saying. But don't get me wrong.
Sorry.
it'll still
I'm
drive
sorry,
you.
y'all. Yeah, Travis, listen. This is what I get in text messages that Travis is just hilarious. Come on.
Pastor Leonard's like my other mama. So y'all get
Travis,
it.
you keep looking at your watch. Where you gotta go?
No.
We're in the middle
so-
of a conversation.
No, it's an Apple Watch, so I get text messages on the watch. So
Oh, you don't have no
Sometime-
downtime. No downtime. Okay. Hey, you back out here. You back
you
out
hear me?
here.
Come on now.
Okay, so you've been vulnerable with us and you shared, the relationship. What did you learn from it?
Ooh, I can take a lot.
Okay. Is that you are you saying you are resilient?
Oh,
You-
there we go. That's a good one.
Okay.
Oh no! So what I learned about myself is that resilient. That's a good one. That's
Okay.
a good one. I'm more inept to be more understanding, if
Okay.
you will.
You're more understanding of people now than you were, more tolerant. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. Everybody doesn't have my upbringing,
Okay.
and a lot of people don't think like me. And trust me, this last relationship taught me or reminded me.
Okay.
Everybody doesn't think like you, and that's okay. In some cases, and others not so much.
So is there a place of compatibility for people who don't think alike?
Sure, if one is mature enough or evolved enough to meet someone in the middle.
Okay. All right. Travis is spitting out the nuggets today. I love it. He says, listen, we can meet in the middle.
Absolutely. You like pancakes, I like waffles. Guess what? I'm gonna learn to love pancakes, and I would
Okay.
hope in return that you would love to learn or love waffles.
Okay. And even if I don't love it, I can respect your love for it.
Absolutely.
Right?
That's
All
all
right.
I'm saying.
So, I love to take a moment to just make sure that you all are hearing what we're saying, because although we're having a good time, there's some real truths coming out of this conversation. And that's what I want to do. I want to empower you with truth and wisdom and knowledge. And I agree with what Travis is saying today, that we can respect our differences, that finding someone that's just like you is probably not going to happen. And I don't know that you would want it to happen. Because I think there's something to be said for the differences that really complement one another. So don't give up on finding that person, and don't overlook that person who may not be just like you. All right, Travis. Yeah. You've learned some interesting things. Any other things you want to share with us?
How much time we got?
Just keep going.
Okay. Well, I do want to make mention that what you choose to ignore, you empower.
That's a good one.
You know?
What you choose to ignore. That sounds like one of my Linda-isms. What you choose to ignore, you empower. What did you ignore, Travis? Pray tell.
I knew you was going to. I mean, it's just, and not just with her specifically, but
Okay.
if you are a person who, I don't know, prefers conversation, you know, or affection. Let's go with affection.
Okay, I'm in.
If you're a person who prefers affection, but then that person doesn't reciprocate, but then you try to force it,
Okay.
that's where problems come into play.
Okay.
So if you ignore that, hey, I'm just not an affectionate person, yet you try to push that onto somebody.
You know what? That it is so interesting that you would use affection, because I do agree with you that those things that are important to you should not be ignored.
Absolutely.
And affection happens to be one of those things that you either are or you're not. And I find that often it causes a lot of problems in relationships. That, you know, affection may not be important to somebody, but if it's important to you, then it can definitely create a void in your life from the relationship. And what happens is we do ignore these things, and then later on, that void comes to the surface.
Right.
And it becomes a source of contention. It becomes a problem in the relationship. But it was there all along.
Absolutely.
Right. So I love that. What you ignore, you empower. Listen, let me come back and talk to my folk. What you ignore, you empower. You just are who you are. You like what you like. And so don't ignore that. And when that's not present in that relationship, don't deny that it's not there, because it's going to come up again. And you want to be authentic in your relationship, and you want that person to be authentic with you. And you can't do that if you're acting like it doesn't matter when it really does. All right, what you ignore, you empower. I love it. I love it.
Well, thank you.
So, what's on the horizon for you, Travis?
Well, as of right now, I mean, don't get me wrong. Who would want to get married and walk down the beach?
Sounds like the
and look
men
at the
don't want to
sunset?
get married. That's
not
what the
true.
ladies are telling
That's
me.
not
Do you
true.
want to get married?
Absolutely.
Okay, when?
Whenever the Lord says so, you know. Whenever He calls me to be married.
Only Travis, can he not slip in and out? Come on, Travis.
Come on now, look, I tap in.
Whenever the Lord.
Come on now.
Whenever the Lord. It's
I tap
always the
in.
Lord.
Yeah, whenever He ready for me to do that, then I'm gonna do it, and not a moment soon.
Okay, so let me ask you all, are you waiting on the Lord, like Travis says he is, or do you have some goals and dreams about marriage of your own? Yeah, do we just wait till, do we?
I mean, well, now you're supposed to, you know, the Bible says, look and you shall find. Nah.
The Bible says,
Huh?
you know, you always go into the Bible.
I'm
Now let's
there.
put this in, the Bible
on
says
now.
a man that findeth a wife.
findeth a good thing.
So he's got to be looking.
And thus, come
Uh-oh,
on now, you in the house.
he got to be looking.
That's why you
This
gotta-
is not just the Lord. He got to be looking.
Right, that's why you got to try all the cereal on the aisle, just so
The
you
Lord
can make
ain't
sure.
talking about. Now, the Lord didn't say anything about cereal. For you folk that don't read your Bible, cereal is not in the
Well,
Bible.
look, you got to try. Not
Don't
all
let
the women,
Travis
but
fool y'all.
not all the women. You got to try all the women, but try you a few here and there. You know, try some in
But see,
Orange Mound. Try
I
you
think
some
it's
in
something
in
to be
Olive Branch,
said.
Chicago. You know,
I think it's something to be said about having too many, because then you start comparing.
How many perfumes you got, Pastor?
Well, no, we're not talking about perfume. We're not talking about perfume. Because I'm not trying to make a life with perfume.
Woo!
I'm not trying to make a
it's
life
tight, but
with
it's
perfume.
right, huh?
No, it's not. I'm not trying to make a life with perfume. So I do want you to think about that, you can get too many things on your plate, right? And you don't know what tastes good because you're eating too many things.
Let me tell you something.
All right?
Thanksgiving, it goes down. You understand me?
But we don't have Thanksgiving every day, Travis.
Every day is a day of
Travis,
Thanksgiving.
you are talking to a 54-year-old woman. You are not going to out-talk me. Is he going to out-talk me? Does Travis think he's going to out-talk me?
Okay, on a
Thanksgiving, we only have Thanksgiving once a year. Now, that's not how you live.
every
We can't
day
live
is a day of
eating like it's Thanksgiving.
You right. Nah, I agree with you on that.
All right? So can we look forward to you making a serious search?
Of course. I mean, and just being honest.
How
Pastor,
about
when
this?
you-
How about this?
Oh, hold up. Well, I don't know now. You sounded too excited when you did that.
Well, if one of our viewers want to go on a date with you, would you be all right would you be open to that? Okay, and he clears his throat.
Well, hold on now. Conversations with Linda has sponsors, so will they sponsor the date?
Trevor,
We're gonna do it that way.
You have just taken
Okay.
me low. You have just taken me low. You have just taken me low.
I tell you what. If Pastor Linda
Give
says
our audience your last name.
Terry, sorry, so you can look me up on Facebook at Travis Terry.
Travis Terry, I want you to look him up. But how about let's find Miss Terry.
Come again. Say what? Listen,
Let's find Mrs. Terry.
I'm steadily
I mean, you said-
in pursuit.
Can we help you?
Absolutely not. But I'm definitely.
I want to help you, Travis.
I want to help myself.
But can we make this something that couple of days you come back and tell us how it went and we can see where it goes?
Sure.
I love this. I'm in for it. Y'all in for it? Finding Mrs. Terry is where we're going.
Now,
You on board?
We're not gonna make a reality show out of this now. But here's my thing, right? So when you.
But wait a minute.
Okay.
I'm on to
Come on.
something. I'm
Okay.
on to
Come on.
something. Listen, you may be viewing us this evening or after the show it's been aired and you've come back to it, whenever. Nice looking young man. Been vulnerable here on Conversations with Linda, so we know there's a heart somewhere in there, and talented Christian man. If you're interested in Mr. Terry, Travis Terry, why don't you drop me a note at lindawillisempowers.org, because I think we can help Travis find Mrs. Terry. I think we're on to something. I'm loving this.
I can't wait to call Bishop. I can't wait to call.
You know what? He always gets on me because I do like to matchmake. I do like to matchmake. Is that wrong? Can I matchmake? I can make conversations. A part of conversations will be, listen, if you want to come on Conversations with Linda and find your mate, if you want to come on Conversations with Linda and find your mate, hey, I'm here for it. We can find your mate with you. I won't say for you, but with you. It'll be interesting, fun to see what happens. And who knows, you may just find your Mr. or Mrs. All right? So, Travis, this is good. I'm excited.
I'm sure I see.
Yeah, I'm excited. Finding Mrs. Terry is what we're going to do. So I want you to, will you be honest with me? If you get an inbox or, because they can't text you, they don't have you want to give your number out?
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
But would you, somebody messaging you now? I saw you looking at your watch. Okay. Would you let me know? Because I want to bring that person, or at least I'll pay for the first date. How about that? I'll pay for the first meal.
I got a cab.
Yeah, you got to
Okay.
And you're gonna come back and tell us about it, and we'll see where
Sure.
this takes us. I believe we're on to something. I kind of hear wedding bells going on.
Sound like insurance to me. Okay.
All right, folks, it has been a joy sharing with you today. Travis, you know you're one of my favorite people.
I love you too.
Love you. I love having a conversation with you. Now we can have these on air instead of by text message and by phone.
I don't know. They might not be ready for some of those.
So our question today is from one of our viewers in Olive Branch, Mississippi. They say, what are the steps to overcome depression? Well, let me tell you, the first thing you need to do is detox your brain. That's right. If you're experiencing depression, fatigue, lack of concentration, the overall just feeling overwhelmed and sad, it's time that you do some detoxing of your brain. How do you detox your brain? You got to begin to recognize your toxic thoughts. That's right, your toxic thoughts. I know we talk a lot about toxicity these days and how other people are toxic, but sometimes our own thinking is toxic. We call it stinking thinking. From a therapeutic standpoint, we call it cognitive distortions. So you got to begin to observe how you're thinking, whether you're thinking, you're catastrophizing everything, whether you're thinking all in black or white, everything is either good or bad, there's no in between. That's toxic thinking, because life is never all bad or all good. And so we have to learn how to identify those thoughts when they're negative and then replace them. What do you replace them with? Replace them with some balanced truth. The balanced truth is, I may be going through a situation, but it doesn't necessarily mean my whole life is horrible or my whole life is at an end. And so you get some balanced truth in there and begin to focus on the truth and not your feelings. And what you'll find out is the more you focus on the truth and have balance in your perspective, it actually will begin to change your feelings. You'll begin to think, feel more positive, more balanced. And then I want to share with you that you need some self-care. Oftentimes when we're feeling depressed, it's because we're taking care of everybody else except ourselves. So this is a time for you to do some care for yourself. When your mind is toxic, usually it means your body is toxic too. Your body needs some tender, loving care. And then lastly, if these steps don't work, you need to seek professional care. Don't be ashamed. Just as you would take care of your body if you would see a doctor if you had high blood pressure or diabetes, sometimes this mind, it needs some professional care as well. So try those things. And lastly, professional care.
If you would like advice from Linda, go to lindawillisempowers.org now to submit your question. She wears several different hats. You can ask the therapist, you can ask the pastor, you can ask the speaker, you can ask the parent/grandparent, but whatever hat you'd like for her to put on, go now to lindawillisempowers.org to submit your question.
Make sure that you tune in to Conversations with Linda each Sunday evening at 7 p.m. I am out of time, but I'm never out of conversation. Y'all, I'll see you next week. I'm supposed to throw a card.